Welcome to my Priority TBR. Hey, my name is Sydney, and today we are going over my Priority TBR, or my to-be-read list. Between all the books in my Goodreads TBR, all the books that I own, all the books that I've saved on Instagram and on TikTok, my TBR, or my to-be-read list, is literally thousands of books long. It stresses me out that in my lifetime I don't think I'll get to read all of them and all the books that come out that I want to read, but it's okay, we're gonna ignore that for now. At the beginning of 2024 in my bullet journal, I actually made a Priority TBR list, and since then, it is now September, I have not checked off a single one of them. So we're gonna go over all of the Priority TBR books that I have on my list from the beginning of this year and what they currently now are. Because the fact that I wanted to prioritize these and have read none of them is a little questionable. So I separated this into standalones and series, and there's obviously way more books out here that I want to read, but these are just the ones that I picked in the beginning of the year. So in the standalones, the first two I have are R.F. Kuang books, and I have them both. So I've never read anything by R.F. Kuang, but I very much want to. I think they're all going to be up my alley, and so I would like to read both Yellowface and Babel, as well as all the other books that they've ever written. I would love to read the Poppy Wars, but these are the two that I have, and I still haven't read them yet. I feel like this is the winter for it though. Next are two Emily Morgenstern books, and I actually have them both too. These are The Night Circus and The Starless Sea. I started listening to The Starless Sea a few years ago, but it was just a bad time and I couldn't get into it, so I stopped and I haven't been able to pick it up since then. But I have both these now in paperback, and I think it'd be a little bit better on paper. But they are chunky books, but I've heard such good things, so I think they're still on my Priority TBR, especially because I own them. I think I want to read these soon. If We Were Villains might be the perfect autumn dark academia book, and I found this one in a Waterstones, and it is absolutely gorgeous, and it is signed. I really, really want to read this book. I also picked up The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea in a Waterstones. I've had it for almost 2 years and I haven't reached for it yet, but it's short enough and it's interesting enough to me that I think I still might get to it pretty soon. I really love Greek mythology, and I love Greek mythology retellings, and a few years ago I read Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. It wasn't my favorite Greek mythology retelling I've ever read, but I loved it enough that I want to read the rest of Jennifer Saint's works, and I got all of these in Waterstones. This one in particular is just absolutely stunning, and I really want the rest to match this, but I'm not gonna get them. The King of Elfland's Daughter is a classic that I've been wanting to read for a very long time now, and I actually got this version in Shakespeare & Co. I don't know why I haven't reached for it yet. It is absolutely stunning, and I want to so badly. Plus, they gave me this cute little bookmark when I bought it. And Enchantment of Ravens is one of those books that a very long time ago I saw a few videos for and I thought it was really cool, and then one day in Used Book Superstore I found it for $3, so I picked it up and I just never reached for it, but I feel like I still can. Again with Greek mythology, but this is more of like a horror in the modern day, and I've heard really good things about this author, and so I found this in a little free library and picked it up, and then later on I found this. So this isn't on my physical TBR or my Priority TBR, but I feel like I could read them both pretty soon. I saw a few videos about this book, my cousin then said very good things, and then I found it and I just figured it was meant to be. It is a chonky book though, but I think it's a really cool premise. I put Lies We Sing to the Sea on my Priority TBR because it was my very first Illumicrate book, and I was like, I paid a lot of money for this, I want to get my money's worth. But now I haven't read any of my Illumicrate books yet because they're just like so pretty in my brain, I'm afraid I'm gonna mess it up. So I think pretty soon I'm gonna challenge myself to read all of them at once. More on the Greek mythology train, I have The Daughters of Sparta by Claire Hayward, but I would also love to read The Shadow of Perseus by her. Pat Barker is one of those authors that is just like the top of Greek mythology retellings, and I would love to read everything by her. This is the only one I have right now. There was a lot more Greek mythology on this list because I just wanted to read them all. Like I have Clytemnestra that I really wanted to read, and the Wolf Den series. But also written down that I don't have currently is The Shadow of Perseus, Silence of the Girls, The Women of Troy, The Voyage Home, Herc, Ithaca, and so much more, but they just aren't written down here. In the same vein, I would absolutely love to read the actual Iliad and Odyssey, maybe some other versions that might make it a little easier for my first go around. I've read bits and pieces of it over the years, but I would love to just sit down and actually read the whole thing. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think I'm gonna have to break it up into chunks. But it is definitely a goal of mine. I love, love, love Greek mythology. I think when I was making this, I was getting more interested in dark romances. I've read a few over the years, but for some reason, I have Den of Vipers on here. That is no longer a priority for me. And again, in the fall kind of dark academia, I'd love to read A Study in Drowning. It just sounds like such a cool book to me. The last 3 books I have under the TBR standalones are Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which is somewhere in my YA Unshelved pile down there, so I'm not gonna find it. And then the two I don't have are The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brienne Randall and Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. I've read other books by Alex E. Harrow and I've really liked them, and I've heard great things about Starling House. And then under TBR series, we don't have too many to go to because I didn't want to overwhelm myself, and here I am not having read any of them. But the first one I have is all of the Leigh Bardugo books. I just know I'm going to love these books, so I have been thrifting and searching and just looking for books. I found Shadow and Bone. It's a collector's edition, but I got it for cheaper because there's a dent in the corner right there. But it is very, very pretty, and I'm very excited for it. And then I found Siege and Storm, I think in a little free library, maybe a used bookstore. And I've been searching and searching for the third one in the series, and literally yesterday I found it in a used bookstore, and I'm so excited. So now I have that. I have Six of Crows. I'm still looking for Crooked Kingdom, which I think is the second one in that duology. But now that I have the first three and this one, I feel like I can get it at the library, and I don't feel held back anymore. And then these last two I actually got at either Barnes & Noble or Books A Million, something like that, where they were on sale, and I was like, you know what, these are gorgeous and I want to read all of her work, so yeah, I'm gonna take them. And then the next series I have down here is The Kiss of Deception, which I actually found for $2 at a used bookstore, and I'm pretty sure that this is just part of like a larger series, because I also have written down Morgan, The Heart of Betrayal, The Beauty of Darkness, Dance of Thieves, and Vow of Thieves. I'm pretty sure those last two are a duology, so I need to look into it, but this book is very yellow. I wish I could find a better one, but I've never found anything else by her like out in the wild. So this is also my physical TBR. I think I might get to it pretty soon. It's possible. And then I have a bunch of Grace Draven books written down here. I don't have anything written by her. I wish I did. But on here I have Master of Crows. Wait, I don't have this, do I? No, I don't. I've just seen it enough times that I feel like I do. Brush of Black Wings, Lightning God's Wife, Radiance, Eidolon, the Ippos King, and the Namos King. Those are the ones I have written on there. I would love to get to them, but considering I don't physically own them, they might not be on my priority right now. And then next is a duology that I do own. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. I actually started the first one at a cocktail bar right after I bought it, and then I got a few chapters in and then I left, and then I didn't pick it back up again because I was in the middle of traveling. Okay, they're unfortunately in the piles of YA on the floor and I'm not going to find them, but it is the Legendborn series by Tracy Deonn. I have heard just the best things about them, and now that I'm saying it out loud, I know there's a third one coming out and I don't have it yet, so maybe that's why I'm waiting. I don't like starting incomplete series, so I think I might wait until I have that last one in my hand and then give it a go. So I think it might be bumped down from my priority list until the third one comes out. And then next under series, I just have all the books by Adeline Grace. I am so excited. I want to read this first series by her. I have this one, and I'm pretty sure there's more, at least one more, that I don't have it yet, but I figure I can get that at the library. And then I was waiting until the third book came out so that I could read these two. This one has cool sprayed edges, and then this one is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. And finally, the third book just came in the mail. I'm so excited, so this is definitely bumping right to the top of my priority list. And lastly on the series, we are going right back to the beginning with R.F. Kuang. I have the Poppy War trilogy. I don't own them, but I would very much like to read them. So now I'm going to take a quick gander at my shelves and see if there's anything on there that I think should be added to my priority list to try to read by the end of the year. Okay, first I want to reread Everything by Ali Hazelwood. I have Everything and I have not read these two yet, but I have in my head that I want to reread all of her previous stuff first. So that might turn into a reading vlog where I just read everything that Ali Hazelwood has ever published. I got this book on the day it came out. I love Ashley Poston's other work. I found her YA books first, and then I found her adult books. I think she's doing really well, and I'd love to read this one soon. I mean, obviously all of my Illumicrate books are high on the TBR. I'm not going to pull them out, but I would love to reread the Caraval series and then the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, because I haven't read the last book yet, and I really want to. Exact same thing with Carrie Maniscalco's Throne of the Fallen, but that is also a continuing series, so I might save that until more books come out. When the Moon Hatched is definitely high on my priority list. Looking around, there are actually a ton of books that I really want to read recently. I'm gonna have a fun time picking which ones I want to write into my next priority TBR list. I think for now that's all I'm gonna say, because I'm gonna feel overwhelmed and want to read them all. So I'm gonna start reading as many of these as possible. I think I'm gonna do a physical TBR reading challenge pretty soon, maybe starting tomorrow or something like that. But yeah, that's my priority list for now. We'll see how many of these I can read by the end of the year.